Cutter's Degrassi Unpopular Opinions. Hey there, hello there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond welcoming you to another Degrassi Unpopular Opinion / Hot Take. And today, this video, we talk about Toby's trauma and all that. Now, I know it's kind of an extension of another Degrassi Unpopular Opinion I did about Toby's issues and how the writers basically ignored them. You can look for it down below in the description. The Toby, the one I'm referring to with Toby. So anyway, some Redditor a while ago, and this is being for context, this is being taped on September 3rd, 2021, is that this guy, Coley Senth, put a thing called, does the show ever address that Toby lost 2 friends? And this is what they said. First, he lost Rick, who he had become good friends with, because of his staff, plus the trauma of knowing he shot Jimmy and almost shot Emma. And then loses his best friend of 6 years unexpectedly, only 2 years later. They should have given him a big storyline where he mentions he's lost 2 friends in high school and deals with PTSD or something and gets scared of losing more friends like Liberty, Emma, and Manny. I know they did something similar to Maya later on, but it would have been helpful for Toby to have some built-up trauma. So basically what this person is trying to say is that, Toby lost Rick and JT as friends. Now, I'm going to go through the storylines of these events, and I'm going to also mention what the writers did tell us, in a sense. I didn't comment on this Reddit thing. So basically, Toby and JT were tight for the first few seasons, and then season 3, JT decided to bypass Toby to become more mature and want to hang around Paige's friends. Toby didn't like it one bit. And at the same time, Toby and Kendra were gone. Well, Kendra was gone for some reason. So anyway, Kendra aside, Toby didn't really have much people to cling on to. No, that's not a Klingon joke. It's Kling on. Sorry about that, Star Trek fans. Anyway, so season 4 happens, and JT unceremoniously dumps Toby to be with Danny, that's Liberty's brother. I think in a way that JT wanted to be near Liberty without realizing it. But JT was with Manny at the time, and JT got jealous of Craig being with Manny and uses a penis pump. But anyway, as it seemed, Toby and JT were very distant at the time that Toby and Rick were paired up. Now, I can't remember the episode name, and I don't really want to look it up live, but I do want to say, in the episode that Toby wants to pair up with Emma for some kind of quiz thingy, but Emma says, I'm with Heather St. Clair. Toby and Rick both meet, and they basically talk about the same things. They like role-playing games. They like girls, especially girls that want to kiss and all that. Darcy, Emma, even Hatzalakos is on the list. So anyway, they decided to have a kissing contest. Whoever got the most kisses wins the competition, and the loser has to buy role-playing dice. Well, Toby easily wins because the school really hates on Rick. So anyway, Toby feels bad that he's going to win easily and decides to pay Darcy $5 to kiss Rick. Unfortunately, that gets Jay and Spinner upset and all that. And of course, there were rumors circulating that Jay was going to be Darcy's brother. Imagine that. So anyhow, that's what happens. And then you got yourself the fact that, they're together. They're on the Quiz Bowl team with Emma and Jimmy. Jimmy taking over for Heather St. Clair. Toby gets a busted lip thanks to Spinner and Jay, who want to look for Rick for spray painting their cars. And then Rick uses this to tell Jimmy about the torment and that Toby's going to be tormented just as much as him. Jimmy switches sides, pissing off the bullies. And then, Toby doesn't really get much credence. And then he just has to be right there with Emma and Sean after, well, and then Rick points a gun at Emma. Toby could have done more, but anyway, back in black is when Toby still is conflicted over his feelings for Rick because he did like hang out with Rick, but Rick's a psycho and shot somebody. So anyway, JT doesn't help matters by taunting him. Toby goes to a thing for Jimmy on Jimmy's locker, and Manny talks to him, and Toby says about how people hate him for being Rick's only true friend. However, Manny takes this as a sign to get after JT and make JT realize that he was terrible. He can't be the bigger man. JT does, to his credit, decide to apologize to Toby, saying that it doesn't matter what I think about Rick. This should never have happened in the first place. So JT and Toby are inseparable again, and then rock this. We're gonna rock this house or something. Rock this town. Sorry, is when they have the party at Emma's house for Liberty, and Toby talks to JT about his feelings for both Mia and Liberty, and JT realizes he should be with Liberty. I guess as a way to maybe get out of the Degrassi Lakehurst feud. And Toby says, "Go after her. What's the worst that can happen?" You're right, Tobes. You're always right. So anyway, JT gets stabbed. Toby's lost an ally. Toby in the next episode has weird feelings towards Liberty, but I think it was because of what do they call it? Like tragedy. The rat got it by tragedy, like tragedy, love, or something. So anyway, Liberty and Toby are together and all that. Toby decides that he can't be with Liberty because that would be a disservice to JT and basically breaks it off. So then, Toby doesn't get featured a lot after that episode. It seems that he's just basically terrible. And Toby didn't talk about losing his friends. I think Toby just didn't want to talk about the tragedies that befell them because it was going to bring back some bad memories. People do that. I think Maya did that. So anyway, the comments for this had someone said that. Someone said Dallas lost Cam and Adam so close together, and it was a hot mess and all that. Well, yeah, because Cam was Dallas's teammate in hockey, and Dallas was close to Adam, and Dallas felt bad about what he did to Cam and Adam in a sense. Someone said he was just forced to deal with other people's feelings about it in the end, which sucks. Somebody said they did a write-up on a subject. So I'll put that into a new tab and take a look at that. But anyway. It says from 2015. And then someone said, considering they did Toby dirtier than practically any character in the series, the answer is no. After season 1, they didn't give Toby much to work with. Barbara Times actually said that it's so true. We see him grieve Rick briefly, not do much after that. Then he grieves JT and even confronts Johnny about it in season 7. But you're right. They should have addressed the combined trauma he would have had. I think an interesting route they could have taken is have him and Jimmy get to talk about the shooting and the stabbing. We know Jimmy tried to stop JT from fighting Nick when he says, "Look what happened last time," or whatever. And then Jimmy is at JT's memorial saying some stuff to Ellie. But there's no Jimmy and Toby interaction. Yeah, and then they said about how they had to address that Toby actually says after season 3. And Toby had no weight or presence in the show after season 2, in a sense. So yeah, a lot of people, yeah, and then someone said they barely address treating Toby with any sympathy at all after JT's death. It's a bunch of people getting mad at him over something that isn't his fault or responsibility. They didn't really give him a storyline. That's something to talk about. So in my way that yeah, that's the problem. Toby was basically shat on mostly after Kendra left. So I mean, yeah, they really messed up his PTSD thing. They could have made Toby a better character or talked more about Toby's problems. I mean, Toby lost Rick. Believe it or not, he had to he had to basically admit that Rick was a friend to him in a sense, but he also has to admit that Rick, shot somebody, and he can't be affiliated with that. And that basically Toby got shot on for his affiliation with Rick. I mean, anyone with an affiliation with Rick would be shot on. I mean, Toby did the right thing going to the visitation for Rick. Obviously, he probably would have went to the funeral. But yeah, Toby was done dirty. And practically, when it comes down to the nitty gritty, aren't we all guilty of not really thinking Toby was a good character? I think we all are. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.